All right. So word of the year. If you guys used to listen to Happy Thoughts, you know that Sarah and I are very pro word of the year. This is like a whole thing in our world. Um, so I've picked one every year since I think 2016 or 2017, maybe 2016. And they have just changed my life. Like I'm sure you guys have heard me say this before, but I'll just give a very brief summary because I think I cannot underscore enough how much this has changed my life. Um, is 2017, my word of the year was up level, and that's the year I got a divorce. 2018, my word of the year was love. That's the year I met Kenny. What else? I can't even remember what 2019 was. Shit. 2020 was presence. Like, how ironic is that? Through COVID and just having to like be so present in where we're at and not like out and doing all the things. 2021 was magic. That's the year I got married and got pregnant and hit $1 million. Magic is a good word, y'all. I'd recommend that one. Really, really feeling that word. 2022 was Marvel. That was the year I had my son, and it was also the year I lost my dad. And so it was like really a year to kind of like marvel at life and all it brings. And that word was so helpful for me. And then this year, word of the year was flourish. So it has been wild how much this has tracked for me of like the word like creates its own thing a bit. It's so funny. Like Sarah and I are like so crazy about this. We're always like proceeding with caution. Like she sent me a word she was considering, and I was like, absolutely no. This could go in a different direction. We cannot have this word. And she was like, oh my God, you're right. That could go in a totally different direction. So we try to be very particular about our words. Yeah, Elisa said, oh shoot, maybe I'll switch to magic. um, I'm curious if y'all are picking a podcast coachee soon. Shantae, we are, I think about 2 months, not quite 2 months, we're like 6 weeks, maybe 2 months. I don't know. I have to think about that a little bit harder, but we're about 2 months into like the next one. So probably 4 months ish from now is when we'll pick our next podcast coachee, if that makes sense. So probably April, I'm thinking, is when we'll do that. Hey, Steph, happy holidays. Um, okay, so anyway, word of the year, so important to me. This year it was flourish. And it's so interesting because I think so often what I have found of like the word of the year experience is that it shows up, but in ways that are often so different than you would expect. Like, for example, when I said 2020, my word was presence. Like, that was for sure not what I was expecting. Or even 2017, when my word was up level, I definitely was not like setting that word being like, fuck it, I'm getting divorced. Like, that was not the vibe. I was like, wait, how did that come out of this? Right. So it's really interesting to see how like that goes. Do you know what I mean? Next coachee has been chosen. Exciting. Yeah. We've already been recording for a little bit. So we try to always be at least about 6 weeks ahead. Just so like if we ever have to move sessions or things shift or whatever, there's not a problem. And because obviously we have like a lot of clip-ins to put in. So we try to give our team time to do that. Hey, Brittany. Joe said I used to choose a word of the year and got out of the habit. 2024 is the year to restart having a word of the year. I love that, Joe. Yes, I'm so with you on that. Like if you haven't done it, it doesn't matter. This might be your what's it called? Like sign from the universe to restart. But so let's talk about this year's word a little bit. Because I think very similarly, like happened in a totally different way than I kind of expected to. I'm so excited for my word of the year. And yes, totally my word for the year. This year should have been expected. Steph, do you want to share with us yours? Yeah, Brittany said she's chosen hers too. Okay, so if you guys know yours for 2024 or want to share what yours was in 2023, share them in the comments. I'm so curious. I like love to get ideas too, where I'm like, ooh, maybe I want that word another year. So that would be so helpful. So, or if somebody hasn't chosen yet, it's probably really helpful to have like all the things they can choose from. So, okay, flourish. I think, what was I thinking when I chose it? I think I was thinking, let me see if I can even find like my note. I always write notes on this. Again, I did not prepare for this. So this, we'll just see what I wrote. Flourish. Um, I think what I was thinking. Hmm. Okay, so the definition I wrote down, like I pulled the definition of the word, and the definition I wrote down was grow or develop in a healthy or vigorous way, especially as the result of a particularly favorable environment. Okay, that actually like really landed for me what I was thinking at the time. Oh wait, I love all yours. Inspire, intentional, expansion. Oh, these are so good. Um, Curious if you set yourself reminders or have any other practice you do with your word of the year. Elisa, what I usually do, it sounds so silly, but I have like lots of reminders of my word everywhere. So I'll often like get a bracelet with the word on it, or like you can't see, but on my computer, there's like a little sticker with the word flourish written really pretty. I got this like coffee mug with the word flourish that I have sitting here. One year someone sent me like a candle with the word on it. So I just like put it everywhere. So I don't have like one specific practice. I just like make sure it's in my face all the time, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like I'm constantly having that like mind jog of like, hey, pay attention to this. Yeah, the word gets lost. Exactly. Like, so that's why I just have try to have it be like very physically present throughout my environment. So like I'll have it in my office in a couple places. I'll usually put it in my like bathroom or my closet somewhere or whatever. Like I just want it in my face. I remember when my word was presence. One of Sabrina got me a beautiful necklace that had it on it, and I wore that like every day. So whatever that is for you, I think it's just helpful to have like physical reminders a lot of the time. Um, Steph says she puts her word on a graphic and has it as a screensaver. I love that. That's a great one. Yeah, in your face all the time. I should do that actually. That's a really good one. So yeah, so flourish. I think what I was thinking is we had just moved into this house like November. So when it said like particularly favorable environment, I was like, okay, I want this to feel like such a great environment. It was like grow in a healthy way. I was definitely experiencing a lot of health challenges then, which I can talk about that too. So I was like, I really want to feel that like growing more healthy. I really want it to be in a favorable environment. Like I want to make this house so special and I want it to feel that. And then I was thinking too, like, Bennett was how old was he then? He was 9, almost 9 months old, probably about this time. So like I was still just like in the like, I mean, I guess he wasn't a newborn, but it feels like you're still like in the newborn trenches. So I think I was just like, I just want to like start coming back to myself a bit. I was still breastfeeding, and pumping full time then. So I think I was just like, just want to like start flourishing a little bit more, where I was kind of like in survival for a lot of 2022 between like having a newborn and like losing my dad. I was like not flourishing. I would like just get through it kind of thing. Um, and marvel at it and all the good stuff that came with the word of 2023, but it was definitely not like, oh, I'm like flourishing. So this year, like in some ways, I feel like I really have flourished, but I think it looked a lot different than I thought I would. Like, I think this is almost depressing to talk about, but we're just being real since I didn't plan. But I think when I probably said that when Bennett was 9 months old, I was thinking, oh, I'll start sleeping more soon and stuff like that. But the truth is, sleep has been such a challenge with Bennett. He just really needs a lot of support and still does. In some capacities, we're like really getting there and it's getting a lot better. But like, he's like almost 21 months now. So like it's been a really long time. And so, but for me, what I have like kind of redefined in that is like, I think what I thought is like flourish would be like, oh, I'll start like, sleeping more and stuff like that. And what is actually true for me when I think about that is this does not need to be like a big discussion here. I'm just saying this for context, but like we've chosen not to sleep train Bennett because that just doesn't feel values aligned. For me as a mom, no judgment on it whatsoever, but for me as a mom, that does not feel good. And so I feel like the way I have flourished in a lot of this is not by like getting so much more rest or getting so much more sleep, but I have like really flourished by being like I am so aligned to my values and what are important and what is important to me. And I feel like that has been so true this year. I feel like I'm just flourishing and like standing for like what I believe, what is important to me, prioritizing that, making my values so clear and so known. I think that's true in my business. And I think that's definitely been true in motherhood and outside of it. And I feel a very big sense of like flourishing in that, even though it doesn't look like the practical thing that I was considering around sleep. So that's been really interesting to see is like kind of how we were talking about how your word like takes you on a ride, right? I feel like that was sort of mine. It's like it would have been so easy if it was that kind of like very traditional sense of like, oh, you're just flourishing because you're like getting so much rest now and it's so much better and it's so much easier. And like that would be great. I would strongly prefer that in some regards. But to just be like, I'm so flourishing and being like in my truth and in my values, I feel like has been really, really cool. And I can just see how much that has shown up. Um, oh, whole. I like that one, Elisa. And she said 2024 is going to be love, like giving love, seeing love, being love. That's beautiful. I think Sarah did give love one year. And she like really liked that. Ease, a little overly hopeful. Connection, Denise. I like that. I thought about choosing that for 2024. I'm still going back and forth on that a little bit. I thought about connected or connection. So I love that you're doing that one. I want to like hear how that goes for you. I was like on the fence with that one. I keep like going back and forth. Um, so what other ways did I flourish? Definitely, I feel like, one of the things I said is like making our house feel like a really favorable environment. I do feel like that feels very on point. I feel very like settled here finally. It took a really long time for me to feel that, which I wasn't expecting, but I think just like having Bennett and all of those things, like I wasn't just like pouring into the space in the way that I like wished I had time for. And so that took a little while, but I feel so like flourishing in that. And then, oh, I mentioned the health thing. So, um, you guys know, or a lot of you know, because I had shared it at the time that I had gestational diabetes when I was pregnant with Bennett. And basically everyone's like, it's no thing, it resolves, it resolves. And I was like, okay. And because postpartum care in America is total shit, nobody really checked in on me on that. Like they test the baby a bunch because like if you have gestational diabetes, like they could have blood sugar issues. So they like test him quite a bit. Totally fine. Didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, it just resolves. Literally no like aftercare on that at all. Um, don't get me ranting. Oh, you did 2022 connection. I love that stuff. Up level. Erica, that was like my craziest year was when I picked that word. And I mean, not in a good way, but in a crazy way. So like, hopefully it does all the good things for you like it did for me. Um, but anyway, yeah, so like no care on that. And I was just like, God, I feel so bad all the time. And it was really hard to tell because, like I said, in 2022, like I had a newborn, I was breastfeeding, I lost my dad, I moved. Like it was just so insane that like feeling shitty wasn't like totally out of my field. Like I wasn't like, oh, something's obviously wrong. I was like, I mean, kind of tracks. But I just kept feeling really, really bad. And so Kenny got me like a continuous glucose monitor. So you just wear this like patch kind of thing. It's like with a little needle, but you can't even feel it. And it monitors your glucose levels. He was like, let's just check. Like, let's see. And multiple times in the middle of the night, like when I would like get up to get Bennett, or even when I was sleeping, I would get these warnings from not just the middle of the night, but I just my like memories of like, oh shit, were of it happening in the middle of the night. I would get these alerts and it would be like critical alert, critical alert. And I was like, oh, this is bad. Like, this is probably why I feel like shit, this is not ideal. And it really started to scare me. Um, and when I had gestational diabetes, I was able to manage it through diet and exercise. And like I didn't have to go on medication then. But when this started happening and I was having all of these alerts and everything, and it was like really starting to freak me out, I was like, I'll do whatever. Like, this is not great. Yeah, Erica, you too. It's so interesting, right? I feel like people make it seem like, oh, it just immediately goes away. Like he comes out, you're done. Like that was not my experience. Um, Hi, Jess. I didn't share my new word yet. We're getting there. I'm telling a very long-winded story because I don't know why. I will wrap this part up, guys. Sorry. I don't know why I'm telling you all of this. here we are. But anyway, so all of that to say, track the blood sugar, went and saw a doctor, and she was like, yeah, like we gotta handle this. So I tried for a little bit through diet and exercise, but I just wonder if it was like very far gone at that point. And I was like getting those alerts. So it was like I was kind of like, I really want to like do something quicker. This is freaking me out. And so I feel like there's going to be lots of thoughts about this. You're welcome to have any thought you want. Doesn't I feel no, I feel neutral about this. So if you're like, oh my God, Lace, why are you doing that? I totally get that. You're welcome to even say that. It doesn't matter, or vice versa. But what my doctor told me to do at that, or asked me to do at that time, was go on Ozempic, which I know everyone has lots of thoughts about. Um, and I was like pretty resistant at the time. But then I was like, fuck it. Why not? Because one, I definitely do have postpartum weight to lose. And two, like I need to get this shit under control because it was starting to scare me and it was like really scaring Kenny. So long story short, it has been a game changer this year. I feel healthier than I have in a really, really long time. Like I imagine I had this issue before Bennett and just didn't know it, because the way I feel now compared to then is so interesting. Like just to see how much more stable my energy level feels, how much better I am, all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, like I feel like that was such a game changer for me this year. I feel so much better in my body. I find it so much easier. I mean, obviously that's what the medication does, but it's like so much easier in terms of like managing what I'm eating and eating in a really helpful way. Like it's just been amazing. And so I am not in any way, shape, or form suggesting that anyone else needs to be on it or that it is a cure-all. I truly had like a medical situation. But it really has been amazing this year. And I just want to be like honest about that. I didn't really think about if I was going to share this part or not, but I feel like there's such like a stigma associated with that right now. And so I'm just like happy to be honest and be like, yeah, that if you've seen me lose weight over the year, this is why. But yeah, I just feel so much better. Yeah, thank you, Elisa. I know it's so insane. Like it makes me so upset for like mothers in our country and like, oh yeah. But yeah, just so much better and feeling so much healthier. And so again, flourish, I feel like showed up different there, you know? Like I wasn't like, I'm gonna flourish by going on Ozempic. Like that was not that was not like my intention. But I definitely wanted to feel healthier. And so I feel like there's like this roundabout way that I got there, kind of like, yes, I had to go through this like challenge with health and stuff, but I am feeling so much better. And so that's kind of what counts. So sort of similar to the sleep thing in a way, I think of like, it didn't look how I thought it was going to look, but I very much like got an outcome that feels really good to me and that like was favorable. So, again, when I go back to that definition of flourish, it was like, grow or develop in a healthier, vigorous way, especially as a result of a particularly favorable environment. Like I feel like done, check. So glad you're feeling so much better. It's amazing to find reasons and solutions for the things you think are unsolvable. Yeah, totally. Like I didn't even realize it was like really an issue almost. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of funny what we like just get used to. So that has really been amazing for me this year. And then I feel like another thing with this year, which is such a mentality that has been helpful for me, is just like it's all on the table is kind of a mentality that I took this year, probably more so than I have in previous years, just because in previous years I was like pregnant, having a new child, all that kind of stuff. But what I mean by it's all on the table is you guys have seen me like completely kind of revamp and rework how I'm showing up, my content strategy, all of those kind of things. And just being willing to be like, everything's on the table. If I was starting at square one, what would I do? What makes sense in this market, in this environment, all that kind of stuff. And so that's been really helpful in flourishing this year too, is just being willing to be like, it's all on the table and I'm going to do whatever thing helps me flourish the most, not whatever thing I've just always done or the thing that I've done it that way before. I can sometimes get a little rigid. I feel like I should write a whole post on this, but in some ways it serves me because I can be very like good at like I show up and do the thing, but sometimes I can get a little too rigid in that. And so this year just being like, it's all on the table. Anything that helps me flourish more, helps my business flourish more, I'm down for. And I feel like I've just like really seen the results of that. Even just in actually, this is really interesting to say, but even just in this round of one-on-one applications, like I have been blown away. Like these are for sure. I want to be careful of how I say this, but these are for sure the best round of applications we've ever had. And like, there's no, like, someone's better than someone else. But when I look at like in total being like, oh my God, this is how many people I like really want to work with in all these applications. This one blew it out of the water. Like it's so good. Um, so I just feel like we're flourishing in that way because we were like, it's all on the table, or I was like, it's all on the table. What does it look like to do this in whatever way feels good? And I feel like seeing some of these applications has kind of like made that feel like a really beautiful, like, come to fruition moment. So anyway, that is my take on my word that I've talked about for far too long. But it's really been an interesting year of like I got everything I wanted, but it didn't look how I thought it was going to look, right? And I think that's so often what happens with words of the year or manifestation or whatever. Like we'll walk away being like, yeah, that was what I wanted, but it's so interesting how it came to me, you know? Hi, Jen. Elisa said, I feel like the word of the year takes you on a ride like that. I had quite a challenging year, and I feel through all of that, I have built this sense of wholeness within me. Oh, Elisa, that makes so much sense, right? It's almost like sometimes you have to think about, well, what's the converse of that word? Because I will probably learn that too. So if it's like whole, you're probably going to get cracked open a little bit to find that wholeness. I think that's so interesting how sometimes we experience like converse things to really show us into that. Like for me, a lot of this year was like not flourishing because I was really, really lacking in sleep and stuff like that. And I didn't start Ozempic until I think I started in May. I think it was May. So like first half of the year, I was not flourishing, right? Like I was tired as shit. And I was like really having a lot of health stuff, like not like that I didn't even realize, right? And so it's interesting because it's sort of like the like both and of the word, you know? So I just resonate with that so much. So I just wanted to say that. Yeah, Manali, totally. How do you go about choosing your word of the year? Do you mind sharing a little bit of what that looks like for you? Yeah, totally. I try on words. It's kind of how I do it. I don't know if that makes sense, but like I'll just think of some words where I'm like, oh, that word resonates or that word resonates. Like this year, I was like, ChatGPT, give me a list of what could be great words of the year, and it gave me a whole list. And so then I just try to like sit with it and be like, okay, what if I tried this one on? How does that feel? What if I tried this one on? How does that feel? And then I usually narrow it down and kind of sit with them a little bit. Hi, Angie. So excited for the people working with you next round. You're the best. Oh, I love you. Thank you. Um, yeah, so I try to like actively try them on. So sometimes I'll be like, I'm going to try this word on for a few days, see how it feels. And then it'll either like really land or really won't. Or every now and then I'll just have one that like fully comes to me where I'm just like, that's it. That's supposed to be it. But I just try to like be in the inquiry of it. Like I'm like, okay, around this time of year, I'm like ready for my word, universe, show it to me. And then sometimes it looks like being really active and trying it on. And sometimes it just sort of comes. Brittany said my word in 2023 was renew. I want to reflect on how that came up for me this year. It's nice to see how your word showed up through the year. Yes, so helpful to do like a retrospective. I think that's like always so useful for me, Brittany. Yeah, ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT for absolutely everything. Mine this year is balance. I've definitely been on the seesaw. Yeah, I think that happens, right? It's like, like maybe your word was like balance means a lot of like up and down, but like that it could still be good and exactly what you needed. It's just so interesting how all that is. So Elisa said, for me, it's interesting. I set the intention and then the word just comes to me, even if sometimes it doesn't make logical sense. Yeah, totally. You just can't shake it. I love that. Tristan said it's such a thing. The assumption of how it'll happen almost baked into our vision or the goal. Somehow life always manages to surprise us. Yes, I'm like, I have like such like reverence for this process because I'm like, I know this is not just me. Like whatever I pick is going to like have its own energy and kind of like take me on its own ride. And so I feel like such a like high amount of like reverence for that and knowing that it's like not just me doing it. Um, same mind have just kept having up in December for me in the past. Yeah, I think that happens. Like it's just like it when you're like very engaged in that process, I think sometimes it just comes to you. I will say this year for me, well, like right now, like coming into 2024 has been the hardest, however you want to say that, time I've ever had picking a word of the year. Like I've really been challenged by that this time. It has not shown up for me in quite the most obvious way that I thought it would. I've been back and forth between two words. I said that earlier, like connection, connected is one I was thinking. And then gratitude is also one I've been sitting with. Um, I think I'm going to go with gratitude, but I'm still kind of like seeing, but it's interesting. Like, I think it's just not wrong either way. Like, sometimes it's just going to land, and sometimes you're going to, have a little bit more time or need a little bit more time to suss it out. And like, neither are bad. I've had both, although I'd say this year more so than before, but they've all been good and they've all worked out. So I think that's worth saying. But I think gratitude feels like what I'm probably going to pick because I feel like so much has happened in my life over the last few years. Like, again, I already said all this, but like, losing my dad, moving, becoming a mom, starting a second business, right, with Dateable. I feel like my whole life looks so different compared to what it did just a few years ago. And I think that as much as I am so, so, so grateful for that and like really do try to cultivate a gratitude practice, I think there's part of me that, hasn't fully landed it yet in some ways. Like, how do I want to say that? Like, yeah, like I just am like, it's all here. Um, and I just want to like savor that a little bit more. And so that's why gratitude was feeling like really alive for me, is like it's almost like feels like next year doesn't have to be about creating more. It has to be about like, or gets to be about being like so grateful for all that's here. I talk with my clients about this so often of like when like big growth or massive change occurs, like you have to have these like integration periods where you like fully land it and are so grateful for where you are. And I feel like I have some stuff to fully land in terms of like like the home we've built, or even like the wealth we've created, or the results the business has created, or how much I love being a mom, or how happy I am in my relationship after like going through divorce and all that. So I feel like there's something about just like sitting in that feels really alive for me this year. Denise said if you go with connection, we can compare notes. So well, I think that's, it's so hard because it's like that one's such a good one too. So I was thinking more about how I just feel so much more open to connection again in ways I haven't or maybe haven't had space for. How connected I feel to my clients right now, how connected I feel to my son, to my husband, and just wanting to like be in that and foster that so much, but then also like wanting to feel connection with more more women in business, and also more moms with kids with similar ages to Bennett. So anyway, I feel like that word could really serve me too. So I'm still like going back and forth a little, again, leaning a little bit more toward gratitude, but I feel like there's something so magical in both. So we'll see. Who knows? Maybe it'll be like December 29th and an entirely different word will land for me. I will let you guys know. But those are my two, with gratitude as kind of like front runner right now. But yeah, I think for me, 2024 feels like it's a lot about everything is so good. Like, how do we lean into that? I feel like in some ways it's interesting. Um, I don't know if you guys have felt this energy at all, but I feel like in some ways in the online space this year, there's been a little bit about just tell me why they might bite me in the ass, because I agree with you and I think about this extensively. So give me your perspective. Because I was saying, I think before you jumped on, Sarah had a word in mind, and I was like, absolutely not. That one's going to crush you. Do not do that one. And she was like, you're right. Celebrate. Oh, I like that too, Lisa. That's very interesting. Okay, I'm going to put that on my list because okay, hold on. Let me write that on my list. I'm going to think about that one. Celebrate. Okay. I like that one too. 2023, my word was up level, and boy, I did but none of the ways I thought I would. Oh my gosh, Denise, that's so funny. Up level kicked my ass, but like in the best way. But that was the year I got divorced. And so just seeing you and whatever it did to you in 2023, because it's a doozy. Jess said it's like praying for patience. In gratitude, you mean, Jess, you think? Tell me if that's the one you meant. Something along the lines of awe or wonder, but really celebrate feels like it. Oh, Manali, I love that. Yes, maybe celebrate just was for you. Like maybe that was just meant to be. Yeah, maybe I need to do celebrate. I'm gonna think about that. Jess said yes for gratitude. Be careful of praying for patience. Okay, I'm gonna sit with that one too. Maybe I do need to do celebrate. So fun though, right? Aren't these so fun? I love this so much. Oh, I know what I was saying. So I was basically saying, like, I don't know if you guys have felt this way, but I felt this way but this year. But I feel, well, I've talked about it a bit in terms of like the entitlement epidemic in our industry and stuff like that. But I feel like there's almost been this like flavor in our industry a little bit of people just like not being that excited for their business or in their business sometimes. And I just feel the exact opposite. Like I feel so lit up and so excited in my business and the people I'm working with, like I was saying in these applications are just like blowing my mind. Like I'm just so excited by that. And I did this post today because I had a real like explode, not necessarily in the good way. Oh, savor, Jess. I'm gonna write that one. Oh, I like savor too. Ooh, these are so helpful, you guys. Um, are you allowed to share Sarah's word she didn't pick? I'm sure she wouldn't care. I'm just trying to remember exactly what it was. Oh, it wasn't this, but it was something like strength. And I was like, oh, that's going to ask you to be like really strong for a lot of reasons. It wasn't strength, but it was just like that, where you're like, oh, yeah, in theory, that's good. But like, do you really want to have to like prove how strong you are this year or have all these things happen that make you be really strong? Again, it wasn't that. I can't remember what it is. I'll ask her and see if I can come back and comment, but it was like that. Yeah, more strong than contentment. I like that. Yeah, contentment doesn't feel quite right. Like I feel like I want it to be like an action. So that's why I really do like the celebrate or savor ones too. Um, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So there was, I think it was resilience, Kristen. Maybe it was. I think it might have been. Um, it might have been that. It was just like that. If it wasn't that, it was like almost exactly some version of that. But yes, that one scares me. Um, but yeah, so anyway, I feel like there's kind of been this flavor of like, less excited this year, or like, people are like almost more like irritated about how they have to show up. Oh, I know what I was saying. So I had a real go crazy over the last week weekend. And there was like just, it kind of like took on a life of its own. Like I've like officially like backed out of the chat at this point kind of thing. Um, but I feel like why was I sharing that? I was saying something about what I posted today. Oh, I know. And in the post, I made a post today about it and the experience of that. And I was saying like, yeah, that went crazy and that like was its own thing, kind of like there were some crazy ass comments and stuff. But by and large, what that reminded me of is like how fucking cool the internet is and how fucking cool it is that we get to do this work. So I feel like, yeah, things have changed this year, but like I'm still like so excited about this business and I like want to be around other people that are so excited about it. And I want to be like, you know, pulling clients into that too and being like, let's get so excited about this. And so I do feel like celebrate could be really good because I'm just really feeling that. And I'm feeling very much in the energy of like, you guys, we have so much to celebrate. This is so good. Even when, like, yes, there are like crap things that happen online sometimes, or sometimes social media is shit, but like ultimately, it's kind of what we make it. And if we can make it like, wow, we get to do this, like part of my job, quote unquote, it's like being here with you guys having this conversation. Like I would do this all day long, you know? So just wanting to like take that in more in 2024 and like bring that to our space and my clients and all of that so much more. I think this year was so easy for people to just kind of have that like sort of mentality with like, now we have to like do even more. The space has changed so much. And I just feel like 2024, we can get out of that. Um, you wouldn't do resilience, I know. Loved your take on the negative comments. Such a good perspective. Thank you, Jen. Okay, but to argue for savor, it's like much deeper and meditative version of celebration. Wait, Jess, I have to copy that because now I'm gonna probably have to pick that one. Because now you said deeper, and that's my thing. Okay, done. I'm copying that comment. Um, that resonates. This is what I was thinking when picking love, like loving my business, showering my clients with love, showering my audience with love. I want one. Angie, what are you thinking? Do you have one in mind, Angie? Tell us. I feel like everyone could help with yours, given that they know you so well from the podcast. Hey Deborah, hey Asha. It's far more luscious. Okay, I think we might have picked savor, you guys. Feel free to consult me for more reasons later. Okay, well, Jess, I'm already pretty sold. So I'm sure if you told me like one or two more things, I would be done, but I think it might be safer. I already ordered something with gratitude on it, so we'll table that. Yeah, Jess is his presence, and she feels a lot of intensity around it. But I think it's going to be so good for her. um, okay, what else was I going to tell you today? What did I say? Plans for 2024. What are my plans for 2024? I'm going to keep focusing on having fun on social and like taking all the rules off the table. Excellence. Oh, funny, Deborah, Angie. I feel like you would always want to pick excellence. It can also apply to food. Done. Sadly, thinking something terribly noble like sovereignty, but then I feel a bit tired when I say that word. When you said celebrate, I was like, ooh, that's more fun. Angie, I think yours should be celebrate, actually, now that you're saying that. Like that was like our entire last call, actually, wasn't it? About how much you have to celebrate. Okay. Petition is for Angie's to be celebrate and mine to be savor. I feel like you need the lightness of celebrate, Angie. Everyone, can you tell Angie if you agree with that? We're open for feedback. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so anyway, plan for 2024. Keep having fun. I feel like I've been having just way more fun in my business. Well, in my business, I feel like always, but in my marketing, I've been having way more fun. And I really, really like that. And I want to keep doing that. I'm still so passionate about Dateable and like getting that into the hands of more women, which by the way, have you guys done, let me find it really quick, our sales strategy simulator yet? Because it's fucking insane. It is seriously so good. Let me see if I can find the link really quick. I linked it in my email that went out Friday, if you didn't get it, but it is so good. What would it be? Strategy. Shoot. Okay, I can't find it. I will find it and share it. Not to totally digress. I don't think I saw that. I'm going to find it now. Yes, the sales simulator is bonanza. It's so good, right? Wait, I might have missed some of your comments while I was looking for this. So tell me if I missed any. But if you tell me if you guys did it. It is so wild. Like I cannot get over this thing. So if you don't have that, you need to get it. I will find, let me write this SS link. Your emails over the last few days, Lacey, over delivery central. So excited. Oh, yay. I know that one was a big over delivery. I'm going to give Jen all the credit there, but that was like monumental over delivery, in my opinion. Like, I cannot believe we gave that away for free, but it is like life changing. So it's the right thing to do. But yeah, definitely if you haven't checked that out, check that out. But so 2024, like I just want to keep doing that. Like I'm so freaking passionate about more of us having access to this. I'm so excited about it. I mean, you can tell, right? Like if you're a client who's been on a call with me this week, you know I've been like, did you see the thing we made? Did you see the thing we made? Like try to like be like, are you as excited as I am? So I just want to, yeah, like having more fun on social, staying so excited about the things we're doing, keeping like this conversation around data like alive with people, staying in the excitement, like kind of just what I was saying about like so many people feeling kind of so unexcited this year and just wanting to like stay in the excitement. Jess, do you feel like with all of this savor still works? I think it does, but tell me. You need to try it out. Yeah, it's really good. But yeah, like I just want 2024 to be like fun and exciting and about, yeah, like here we go, savoring, celebrating, being grateful for all the things. Like I just feel like I continue to be like, I cannot believe this gets to be my business. I cannot believe this gets to be like what I do for work. I cannot believe I get to like be the mom to this cutest little boy ever. Like, oh, just want to stay in that. So hoping to just like translate some of that energy if that's helpful, or to remind you to pick whatever energy feels mostly helpful for you. Jeff said yes, it's like being deeply pumped about the really good stuff. Okay, deeply pumped feels great, except savor is a better way to say it. But yeah, that's like so the vibe right now. I feel like it's deeply pumped. Like I'm just like, let's do this. But in like not a way where I feel like really unattached to like numbers or goals for 2024. I haven't even set number goals yet for 2024. Not because I like don't care at all. Like obviously I care, but just because I'm like, I just know if I stay in this level of excitement about all that I'm doing, like that's going to take care of itself, honestly. Like I'm this excited about these new clients, like that's going to take care of itself. I'm this excited about social and how fun it's been. That's going to take care of itself. Like I think it's just about like staying in that, you know? And then the money works itself out. Reveling in the excitement. Oh, that's a good one too. Okay, I'm gonna write that one down too. Um, yes, it's like the constant, I'm so excited I could cry feeling that I'm getting from you. Yes, I've been feeling that so much lately. I feel like I've also been getting more sleep lately. So just to be really transparent on that too, I said to Kenny recently, I was like, I kind of forgot this level of excitement and what it feels like in my body. I don't know if that makes sense. But like I just like I mean Bennett was getting up for months and months and months and months, like a really long time, for like probably 6 times a night for a while. We're down to probably like 1 to 2 right now. So I'm like getting a lot more sleep. And I'm just like, oh, this is back. Like this level of like excitement is like back and present. And it just like feels like my body couldn't like hold that alongside the tiredness. And now it's like, oh yeah, here you are. And so I just want to like keep channeling that. Send me all the good vibes that we keep getting sleep too. Hi Michelle. Hello, hello. Brittany loves Rebel. Yeah, that's a really good one. Yeah, yay for sleep. Truly, like it's been a doozy. But it's fine. All is well. We're coming out on the other side and getting to savor all of it. So that is my vibe right now. What do I usually order with my word on it? All different things. Like I usually do some kind of piece of jewelry, whether it's like a bracelet or a necklace or something. I usually do some kind of mug or cup so I can like have that. And then I usually do some kind of like image or sticker. Like I have a flourish sticker on my computer, or like I had like a really pretty like what's it called? Oh my God. Calligraphied word of a print of past words, stuff like that. So I just try to do stuff that's like very like in my field of vision all the time. I only got about 4 hours last night, so I'm feeling it. Asha, I know it's like I feel like when you're in it, you're like, I'm probably fine. It's fine. And then when you like get more, you're like, oh, that was that. Like this whole time I haven't been like, I'm not okay, right? I've been like, oh, I'm not like getting as much sleep as I want, but it's fine. And now that I'm getting a little bit more, I'm like, oh, oh yeah, I forgot what that was like. I forgot what it feels like to like have that little extra zest. So anyway, sending you all the love. It's such a interesting thing. I love that idea because I always forget my word by Feb or March. Yeah. I just try to like have it in my field of vision all the time, and it really makes a difference. Okay, I think that was it. I'm so excited to go into 2024 with you guys and just, yeah, keep sharing more along the way. I feel like this has been, yeah, such an interesting year. I feel like like I was kind of saying, the first half of the year, I feel like was almost like not flourishing. Second half has been like more flourishing. And now I feel like into 2024, it just feels like, oh, even more. Um, it's just like everything is brighter, clearer, and easier. Asha perfectly said. Yes, 100%. Yes. Um, yeah, so I think that's all I got. All right. So remember, $200 gift card giveaway today. I hope you guys have a beautiful holiday. I will be back not until the 8th, which is crazy, but we fall on 2 Mondays. So I will see you guys on the 8th, and we will talk. I think on the 8th, we'll probably talk like 2024 predictions or something fun like that. Um, and then we're gonna have our next podcast guest on, I think the second or third week in January, to launch the new season, and you guys will get to meet her. So yeah, that's coming soon too. So as soon as we're back, we'll probably do like predictions or something. Then I think we may have one more. I can't remember. And then podcast guests and launch. So yay. All right, guys. I hope that you have a happy holiday. I love you all, and I'm so grateful for you, and just so appreciative for you in this community and for showing up and for these conversations. I just savoring it right now and can't tell you enough how much I appreciate it. All right. Bye, guys.